Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Coffee Break, and I am finally back with another ProCast. It has been about a month since I was able to do one of these for you guys, and that is, of course, because of my large encoder problems. Oh man, I was having so many problems with that, but XSplit did finally release an update, and I should be good to go. Hopefully everything will be fine. There might be small little lag pieces throughout this game. I do apologize if that is the case. I am testing out a couple of new settings. However, rest assured they will be fixed over the next week or so, hopefully, and even that lag may not even occur. That is just a be forewarned thing. So I should probably be introducing our players here. Up on the top left, we have none other than SlayerSGanzi, who is spawning as our blue Terran player. And on the top right, here on Shakira's Plateau, we have Complexity's MVPDRG. Decidedly one of the best Zerg players in the world, right up there next to Nesty and anybody else who might be in that category whose names are currently eluding me. I wouldn't necessarily put Idra there. Idra and really actually the entirety of Team EG not really doing all that well lately, to be quite honest. Huck actually just dropped down to Code B GSL. Idra, I'm not even really sure about. I actually have not heard much about Idra other than that he will not be going to DreamHack because he is sick. A sad circumstance for him. Always a shame to see such a great player like that be taken out. To be shown that he's immortal, I suppose is what I'm going for. He's a mortal man and can get sick just like the rest of us. Now, Ganzi was setting up. It looked like maybe to do a little bit of a one Rax expand, but is going to go ahead and drop down that second Rax. Oh, SCV getting out with 5 health and getting put back onto that barracks. He is going to be opening up as a 2 Rax. Maybe to put on a little bit of pressure, but currently no SCV going across the way to lay down a supply depot. Drone is going to be taking the bottom watchtower. Marine going to briefly skirt through that and then jump up to the watchtower. Fast expand coming out of DRG, throwing down his spawning pool just a little bit after that. Probably a 15 hatch would be my best bet. And the drones did actually, was actually able to see that Marine. And is going to get surrounded by the drones. There's a little bit of an exit. Does have 15 health left. And, ooh, my goodness, actually not going to, that thing is slower than a drone. 2.25 movement speed to the 281 of a drone. Drones are actually almost as fast, I should say harvesters, are almost as fast as stalkers, which I believe have 2.95. My goodness, they chase down that Marine. And thus, any sort of random little persnickety aggression, that's kind of a fun word, persnickety aggression, is denied with the killing of that one Marine. I'm just going to queue up a couple of Marines to sit back home for defense. I realize I never pulled down my timer in this game, so I hope you guys did not see the length of the game. And for those of you who at this point now roll back to see the length of the game, shame on you. Shame on you. A third barracks has been dropped to go ahead and complete this wall off. Of course, this barracks can be lifted at any point in time to let the Marines out, and that is exactly what Ganzi is going to be doing here. Letting them out, probably going to try to secure watchtower. 4 Zerglings are over here, but 4 Marines, more than a match for 4 Zerglings. And even they were on hold position, I believe, as they were not moving to attack right as they got shot. A little surprising there. 2 queens in production for DRG, getting up to, is that 4 queens total? Yes, getting up to 4 queens. So where are the extra queens? I see one here. Oh, there's the extra one. There's the extra one. Getting 4 queens total. 2 for a little bit of extra creep in this early game. Love that choice out of DRG. I say it time and time again. I'm a huge fan of Zergs that take time to learn to spread their creep well. It makes the defense in the early and mid game so much more viable, especially connecting the creep between these 2 bases. You'll actually even see some players drop macro hatcheries right about here, and that'll spread the creep down on the low ground, down the ramp, and it's a nice little maneuver. I would not be surprised to see DRG take a 3rd base fairly shortly as well, especially with these extra queens to creep. Can get the creep over to that 3rd base very quickly and not have any problem defending that. we do have a factory with a tech lab getting the Infernal Pre-Igniter upgrade for these Hellions. That's going to add 10 damage, 5 damage? Oh, 5. 10 was the previous upgrade. It was nerfed a long time ago. I messed that up. To plus 5 damage versus light. And getting a reactor on a second factory to pump out those Hellions really, really fast. I don't quite know if I agree with this choice out of SlayerSGanzi. I think it would be great if DRG was going for a very, very heavy macro game if he already had a third base up. However, currently no third base up, no third base even, it looks like, on the way at this point in time, and 11 roaches coming onto the field. Roaches so good against Hellions, as Hellions a little bit fragile, only have 90 health, only doing 8 damage to non-light units, and roaches with their 145 health and innate 1 armor, they can take a lot of Hellion shots. I'm not going to try to do the math. It's 70. Okay, I'm going to try to do math. 21 hits, I think. I think it takes 21 shots. That's a rough estimate to kill a roach with a Hellion. Not the most effective composition, Marine and Hellion versus roach. But then again, we're talking about Marines. Enough said. Baneling Nest is about to finish up. A little bit of a push out from SlayerSGanzi here. Actually has a nice balance between Marines and Hellions here. Roaches, I don't think the roaches were spotted actually, so those could potentially help flank the army. No Banelings on the field quite yet. Once again, that Baneling Nest did just now finish up 2 Queens. Running up the ramp, gonna try to take out some Hellions, but not going to get any. Where are the reinforcing roaches? There they are, coming finally onto the creep, and the Zerglings just waiting for those roaches to get there, and there comes the Zerglings attack, and the roaches coming in behind. Zerglings not quite able to get a full surround because it was on that ramp, but roaches going to be able to help mop up the rest of this army of SlayerSGanzi, and DRG hold without a single problem. Ganzi is going to scatter around for a third base while he is in this area, however, to no avail. There is no third base on the map, and now it is DRG's turn to go ahead and push out across the map with roaches and Zerglings. Might be able to do a little bit of damage here, going to go ahead and start constructing 2 bunkers. There are a lot of Hellions up on this top ramp, though the Zerglings going to be fairly much so worthless in the battle. But what is this? 15 Banelings on the way for Complexity's DRG. Oh my goodness, that is a lot of Banelings. This could do a massive amount of damage. It's going to get straight through that wall. And of course, Hellions do count as light as well as the Marines, so those Banelings will do a lot of damage to those units. Running up to the side, no siege tech quite yet. Banelings getting in. Oh, and there we go. Both bunkers have fallen down. Roaches and Banelings now in the main base of SlayerSGanzi. Could go potentially for that mineral line. Just need to turn around. They would be able to get so many SCV kills, but no, pushing up the straight into the main base to be able to do a little bit more damage here and there. Banelings not quite able to get up onto those Hellions. Now Banelings trying to run around, wrap around to get to that middle line where the SCVs, oh my goodness, so many SCVs getting slaughtered by those Banelings. Roach is able to take out even more SCVs now. C-Tank doing massive amounts of DPS, but just not quite fast enough. And I think about half of the SCVs of SlayerSGanzi have fallen. And even down in the natural expansion, Zerglings are down in there, mopping up a few extra SCVs, taking out some Marines that were meant to reinforce the army. I see a couple more red dots, a couple of more roaches. We're in the main still. How many SCVs fell? We had 30 workers killed in that battle, and that puts them down to 16 harvesters to the 44 of DRG. That 2 base roach Baneling timing attack doing so much damage, and now SlayerSGanzi knows that he needs to do a little bit of damage in return. Going to go ahead and be trying to push up into the natural expansion of his opponent, but 3 spine crawlers being constructed there is going to be very difficult to break that with just a couple of Hellions and a single siege tank, and that's going to force Ganzi to fall back. But don't worry, folks, Ganzi has mules. Wah, wah. Already macroing up a nice little force, a very small ball, but a ball nonetheless, of a mixture of bio and mech units. However, more roaches and Banelings moving out across the middle of the map. The siege tanks are in siege mode now, going to get a couple of beautiful shots off on those Banelings and force the retreat of DRG, and that's going to be a nice little a win for SlayerSGanzi there. You have to remember, a lot of this supply advantage for DRG, 25 of that is in harvesters, so Ganzi actually does have the large armor right now, and with siege mode could press a slight advantage with that right here. Going to go ahead and push out. A lot of the spine crawlers were actually canceled when DRG saw the attack was not coming, so only 1 spine crawler standing there. 3 siege tanks sieged up now at the natural expansion of DRG. and he could be in a lot of trouble here. It looks like this hatchery may indeed fall. It is going down very, very quick to the siege tank and biofire of Ganzi. Now pulling all the drones into the fray. That is never a situation you want to be in, but there are a lot of roaches on the ramp, but they're just getting eaten alive by these siege tanks. However, they can spot those siege tanks from the high ground, going to be able to take out one before being forced to fall back to regroup and trying to make a second push. But there is a third siege tank once again up on the top of the ramp now. Drones just getting massacred. This is like the Trail of Tears except Zerg style at this point. Only 4 drones, 5 drones, maybe 6, whatever, remain at the natural expansion. The hatchery does fall. DRG does have this third base established, but it does not matter. There is the GG from Complexities ZvT. I cannot say that name, and there we go. XSplit was not switching my overlay, but my goodness, DRG mounting a brutal 2-base roach baneling timing attack, and Ganzi just coming back with an answer of tanks and Hellions and Marines, and just mopping up what was left of DRG after that last push. And that was a rather explosive game, and I'm a little surprised, actually, because earlier when I said I forgot to lay down my timer hider, I try not to check the length of the game or who wins the game before it happens, so I don't have any bias. There is spit everywhere right now. My goodness, I was excited during that game. But when I pulled the timer hider down, I thought it was 25 minutes, so I was really wondering how these players were going to recover from this and go into a late macro game. But nonetheless, there is our game of SlayerSGanzi versus Complexities DRG. This is not a series. I believe this was just a random BattleNet game here on Securus Plateau. So that is it for this one. I will be casting one more here. I believe it is Nestea and the Muslim is going to be the next game I'm going to cast. So be sure to check that out. This is an explosive matchup. I didn't even see any lag. I'm glad to say that. I'm glad to report no lag. And lastly, if you guys have not checked out my show, I do a live show on Mondays and Fridays at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. That would be 6 o'clock Pacific and 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock CST. I do a twice a week show on Monday and Friday where I have viewers from the audience. I take them, pull them into a game, and pit them against one another for our own amusement, and I will cast their game. And occasionally I will take on guest casters as well. So I cast your games with you guys featured as my guest casters. It is a blast. Make sure to check that out. There will be a link in the description to my live, my Twitch TV account so that you can go ahead and check that out. Also links to my Facebook and Twitter there if you want to know when I'm doing events. I will hopefully be planning a Coffee Cast Open #2 fairly shortly here, as school is just now finishing up for me. And with that, I am going to take a quick break here, rest my voice up, woo, and go into Nestea versus the Muslim. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking around, and this is a coffee break, signing out.